So the Louis the Stammerer Monarch's Journey video was the first one on my channel to surpass 100 views, so I guess there's a market for this kind of thing. Works for me. This time around we're playing as Queen Shajar al-Durr of Egypt, one of the extremely rare historical female Muslim rulers. Full disclosure, my full playthrough of this challenge was kind of a disaster. I got crusaded, lost Egypt for like 2 generations, and although I did complete all 3 challenges on that attempt, it could have gone very differently, and I'd approach it in a completely different way if I knew then what I knew now. So this isn't going to be so much of a full single playthrough, but more of a combination of things that I actually did and things that I only realized would have been smart in hindsight. Anyway, same drill as last time. To make sure this guide can help players regardless of what DLCs they own, I'm only using the free DLCs Sword of Islam and the Old Gods. Sword of Islam isn't free anymore, but it's required for this challenge. Old Gods is still free. There's a link in the description for where to get it. I have cosmetic mods that don't disable the challenges. Links to those are down there as well if you're interested. Here's my game rules so that you know what I'm running. Of particular note is that I recommend changing gender laws to equal. Not only will this make your early reign easier because your vassals will be chill with a female ruler, you can marry matrilineally to expand your bloodline more easily, and you can give land and council positions to the most qualified individuals, not just the most qualified men, but it also makes one of the challenges a lot less time sensitive than it otherwise would be. Speaking of challenges, let's get to it. Heiroglyphics is the first one, and it's simply to just reach 80 total members in your dynasty. They don't have to all be alive at the same time, they just need to have been born alive and exist to be added to the family tree. And it can be completed as long as you're still following the Bahri dynasty. Second is Tutan-Kha-Doom. Kill landed characters who are of other dynasties. As far as murder challenges go, this one's pretty tame. 3 kills for bronze, 4 for silver, and 5 for gold. They don't need to be of a specific dynasty, faith, nationality, or anything. As long as they hold land and they're not of the Bahri dynasty, they count. This one needs to be completed as Queen Shajar. Finally, don't stop me now. Hold as many queen titles as possible. This just requires holding 2, 3, and 4 kingdom titles at the same time for bronze, silver, and gold respectively, but with a twist. It only counts if we're holding those kingdoms as the same character, and that character has to be a woman. This is the main reason I changed the gender settings. If you don't manage to complete this challenge before Shajar dies, it's extremely difficult, if not completely impossible, to get another woman on the throne. Muslims normally don't allow female inheritance at all, and you can only change this by owning the Conclave DLC, which includes a set of laws specifically for feminism. But we're not using that, so just set gender equality to all. Before you can even worry about the challenges, there are 2 things you need to fix up. First, your inheritance. Shajar is 35 and is in a regular marriage to this Duke Ibak guy, which means that if she gets knocked up at any point within 10 years after the game start, all her titles will pass to a kid that isn't of her dynasty upon her death. Either quickly get the money to arrange a divorce, or stick him with a knife before he gets a chance to stick you with his. The second and larger problem is from the Christians, who have a strong foothold in the Holy Land at this start date, and will absolutely declare a crusade for Egypt very shortly after you start the game. You can fight them off, but even with the other major Sunni powers coming to your aid, winning that war can be a tall order. I'm not saying it's impossible, but the numerical odds are against you. There are so many variables that I can't really give a definitive guide for how to fend them off. If they win, you lose one of your kingdoms and are that much weaker and farther away from finishing Don't Stop Me Now. If you win, they're just going to come back in a few years anyway. It's a total mess. So we're going to just invalidate the crusade so we don't have to fight at all. Step 1. Hand over your excess titles until you get down to 4, which is just over your domain limit of 3. I recommend holding on to these 4 counties: Cairo, Iqmim, Kulzum, and Bilbays. Give the rest away to whoever, but if you have any Miaphysites in your court, make sure you give them some land, and don't give any to your already powerful duke vassals or to your only living kinsman, Kalawun. Kalawun is sort of your lifeline in case something goes horribly wrong. If Shajar dies childless, he inherits all her land as her only family member, and since he starts young, unmarried, and in your court, you have complete control over his marriage prospects. Set him up with 4 young, fertile ladies so he can produce plenty of dynasty members for Heiroglyphics. Actually, this is the only strategy you need for getting golden Heiroglyphics. Give as many fertile wives as possible to your male dynasty members, and matrilineally marry your female dynasty members to fertile men. Start them young, look specifically for these traits, and you'll be golden after a few generations. Golden, see what I did there? Unpause and wait for all 4 of Kalawun's marriages to be accepted, and only then give him one of your 4 remaining counties so you're down within your limit of 3 and he can start building up the dynasty and make a name for himself. Anyway, back to the Catholics. Long story short, you can't get crusaded if you're of the same religion as the Crusaders. So the goal is to be the best, most pious Sunni we can be as fast as possible so that we can get enough religion points to abandon the faith and become a Christian. Makes sense, right? Go on the Hajj to Mecca and take every option or trait that lets you gain piety as a lump sum or get a bonus to piety generation over time. You need 250 before the Pope's boys crusade your kingdom to dust. Doing the Hajj, Ramadan, and giving Sadaqah make this a fairly attainable goal even if the Pope declares the crusade immediately after the game starts. Once you have 250 piety, you can right-click the county crest of one of your directly held counties, where the population is Miaphysite, and secretly convert. Then right-click your own portrait to publicly convert. Being publicly Christian will prevent crusades and immediately cancel out any that are in progress, even if the Templars are invading your land and knocking down your door, and the Pope will never bother you again. On the downside, your Sunni vassals and all the other Muslim realms surrounding you hate your guts now, but it's still easier to defend yourself against potential Sunni jihads than trying to fight the entire population of Europe at once. The Christians have been placated, inheritance is under control, or hopefully will be soon, and total dynasty members is ticking up in the background. Time to focus on the two fairly urgent challenges. For the murder plots, I find it best to strike within your own realm. The Miaphysites you gave land to at the start of the game love you and are more than happy to help you kill off your Muslim vassals. You can use the strategy of inviting Miaphysites with high intrigue to your court and then marrying them off to Christians in the court of your target, but check first to make sure that this isn't overkill. Also, when rulers within your massive kingdom inevitably start plotting things, just arrest and execute them for their schemes. You'll get a -10 tyranny opinion penalty for each one you kill, but all that means is that more of them will start plotting against you, and you can just arrest and execute them too. If they resist arrest and start getting uppity, just beat them up with your superior numbers, revoke a couple titles, and execute them for treason. At the end of the day, you're the queen of this land, and it's better to ask forgiveness than permission. Just make sure to keep your spy master happy so that your decapitated head doesn't get added to the pile. After 5 landholders of any kind bite the dust, you'll have gold in the challenge. Finally, don't stop me now. This challenge isn't tied specifically to Queen Shajar, but you never know if you're going to get a daughter to put on the throne, so just try to do it within her lifetime anyway. It's not even that hard to get 4 kingdoms under her belt, considering that you start holding the kingdom of Egypt, and you already own enough land to form the kingdoms of Syria and Al Jazeera as soon as you get enough piety and gold. For the 4th kingdom, the easiest choice is the Kingdom of Arabia. Declare a holy war for the Duchy of Nefud against the High Chief of Atef, and that gives you enough land to form the Kingdom of Arabia. Since it's a holy war, other Sunni realms might join against you, but you have like 20,000 troops at this point, and you can hire the Mamluks mercenary company for pennies on the dollar, so you can just crush everyone without even trying. After that, just sit tight, save up gold and piety, use your Chancellor and Spy Master to stomp out murder plots and factions, and before you know it, you'll be able to form Arabia for gold, and don't stop me now. If Shajar somehow dies before you pull this off, you can finish forming the kingdoms with a male dynasty member. Just make sure that you give land to one of your daughters so that a woman inherits all 4 kingdoms via open succession. The hard part's over now, and you just need to wait and survive long enough for your dynasty to reach 80 members. You wield so much power in the Middle East now that nobody can really stop you from doing anything, so do whatever the hell tickles your fancy. Since you already got gold for Don't Stop Me Now, you can make the Empire of Arabia and give out your kingdoms to your vassals so that you won't have to manage as many people, or give them away and grant them independence and live out the rest of your game building up a comfy Christian Egypt. You might want to consider switching back to being a Muslim, or just keeping the rest of your family besides Shajar Muslim, because letting every male dynasty member have 4 wives can significantly decrease the number of generations it takes to reach 80 dynasty members. This does open you back up to being crusaded again, but even if it happens, and even if you lose the Kingdom of Egypt, you still got 3 more to fall back on, so it literally doesn't matter. And there's a good chance the Europeans are more interested in fighting off the Golden Horde than going to the Holy Land anyway. Check the main menu every couple of years to see what your dynasty status is at, and as soon as you see Heiroglyphics topped with a gold crown, you are done with this monarch's journey. Feel free to leave a like if this guide helped you, comment any alternate strategies you discovered for this challenge or interesting things that happened, and subscribe if you want to see me make more videos for more of these challenges. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.